these are divided in different sections. The first section is need versus want. So to try to figure out if someone really needs what you're trying to sell or if it's a more of a nice to have, that can determine how qualified the prospect is, right? If it's a would be nice to have, maybe you shouldn't put that deal in your quarterly pipeline for a commit to commit it as closed, that it's going to close, because a must-have is more likely to close than a good to have. But these are some questions that you can ask there. What happens if you don't do anything in terms of making this purchase? What happens if the purchase isn't made by the end of the month? Does anything happen, on your side? So you can take a look at those. The next question is availability of funding. These questions are good for figuring out, is there money to spend, right? So can often be a delicate issue. These are really diplomatic questions to get at, figuring out if the deal's real. But hey, has budget been approved for this? What's the budget range you're trying to stay within? Are there any other projects that the funding for this project would compete against? So take a look at those. These are decision making, right? So are you selling to and dealing with the person who is the ultimate decision maker? These are real important. That's a real important thing to identify, and it's a delicate subject as well. You don't really want to come out, hey, are you the decision maker? Because a lot of times people might either think they are, but they're really not, meaning they have to go get the deal signed by someone else, or they don't want, they're trying to present an image to you. They don't want, you to think that they're not important, or they don't want you to go around them. So these are real diplomatic ways of asking if the person you're dealing with is the decision maker. So you can ask, what's the decision making process, and get them to explain to you all the way up to like the deal being paid for and signed, and that will tell you exactly where they sit in that chain of command, who and whatnot. So you can look at those on your own. Level of intent questions. These are to determine, is someone just kicking the tires and wasting your time, or is the deal for real? And so an example of when this happens that I think people get taken advantage of, and by taken advantage of, it means you're a salesperson and a prospect wastes your valuable time by not really being serious about buying. Maybe they're serious about buying something, but they're not really serious about buying from you. Let me give you an example. A customer has made a decision to make a purchase. It's funded. They're the decision maker. They've been talking to another company for 6 months, and a month before the decision is going to be made, they come and talk to you. And if you don't ask these questions, you might think you might ask, is the deal funded? Are you the decision maker? You might think, oh man, this is a great deal. But the reality is that they've already decided to purchase from someone else. So these are some questions to identify if that's the case. What other options are you considering? How do you feel about their solution? How long have you been looking at them? How does their solution compare to ours? Is there a reason why you would choose us over them? So if you get answers to those questions that show you, yes, you're coming in at the 11th hour, it doesn't mean you say, oh, screw you, you're not serious about buying from me. But what it might mean is that you produce a really quick quote and proposal. You don't spend a week working on a proposal and flying all over the place. You're more guarded with your time. So you do the bare minimum. But what that means is if you ask these questions, you can save yourself a lot of valuable time that you then spend getting better quality prospects.